Drones have given us a new way to see the world, capturing breathtaking views from high above. But sometimes these flying cameras show more than just beautiful landscapes. Have you ever thought about the unsettling secrets that might be hidden from our view? Imagine flying a drone and capturing something truly unsettling. What would you do? Would you even believe it? That's exactly what happened when a drone accidentally took a chilling photo while flying over the jungle. River of blood. You really do not expect to see a river filled with blood in real life. That is something they reserve for horror movies. But it was exactly what David Mimlich bumped into in 2011. He was in Dallas, Texas, and felt like spending his lunch break by flying a drone he had made over the Trinity River. Just a normal day, nothing out of the ordinary. He looked down and snapped a few pictures, thinking he would get the usual. A winding river, some trees, maybe a few birds. When Mimlich got back to work and started flipping through the pictures, he noticed something very odd. Part of the river was dark red. It looked like a really big stain spreading all over the water. At first, he thought he was seeing things. Could it be blood? He quickly dismissed the idea as ridiculous. Blood in a river? It's one of those things that you joke about but never expect to actually see. However, the longer he looked at the photo, the more he could not shake the feeling that something was really wrong. Feeling a bit edgy, Mimlich decided it wouldn't hurt to let someone know, just in case. He contacted the National Response Center to make a report. Better safe than sorry, right? It was a short time later he received their reply with some chilling news that the Red River wasn't some trick of the light or perhaps a camera glitch. No, it was actually pig's blood. Authorities discovered later on that a large meat packing house, the Columbia Packing Company located upriver, had been dumping huge quantities of blood from slaughtered hogs into the river water instead of properly disposing of it. Imagine that thick, dark blood mixing with the river water, turning it red like something out of a nightmare. You would think a scene like that would only exist in stories, but here it was, happening right in the middle of Dallas. Because of their illegal dumping, the company got slapped with a $100,000 fine. The clown in the field. Clowns have this uncanny ability to creep us out, don't they? Whether it's their fake smiles or those crazy mismatched outfits, there's something about them that strikes a balance between being amusing and downright spooky. And that's precisely what adds to the unsettling nature of this video. A guy was piloting his drone over a vast cornfield, likely just to get some cool shots of the landscape. Everything appeared to be normal until he caught sight of something vividly orange in the heart of the field. Naturally, he thought it would be wise to steer the drone in for a closer inspection, thinking it might be an unusual scarecrow or perhaps some abandoned farm equipment. But as the drone moved closer, what he encountered was far from reassuring. Instead of a typical scarecrow standing motionless, he spotted a figure wearing a clown mask and a strikingly bright orange shirt. And here's where things take a twist. The scarecrow actually turns its head to gaze directly at the drone. Now, we all know that scarecrows don't move on their own, so it was undoubtedly a person lurking amidst the cornfields. But this wasn't just any ordinary person. They were dressed up on purpose to give people a scare, and they were doing a pretty good job at it. As soon as the clown spotted the drone hovering above, he didn't stick around. Instead, he took off running towards the nearby woods. The drone pilot, probably not wanting to crash his expensive equipment into branches, decided not to follow the clown into the trees. But here's the twist. When the drone was flown back to the pilot's location, it turned out he wasn't too far from where the clown had vanished. Now, when you think about it, there's a good chance this is some elaborate prank or setup between the pilot and his clown friend to create this sinister video. Perhaps they figured it would be a good laugh or a great way to get out on the internet. But even if that's true, watching that clown vanish into the woods gives you this uneasy feeling. It makes you think twice about ever wandering too close to a cornfield again. Bear chase. This next drone video might send shivers down your spine. Whether you find it eerie or outright terrifying, it's definitely the type of clip that grabs your attention. The footage begins with a drone gliding through snowy pine trees, focusing on a path. That's when things take a twist. There is a man running for his life, while an average-sized brown bear closely follows him. The drone captures the thrilling chase from an angle. It zooms in on the action before circling back to show the scene from behind. At one point, the bear appears to notice the drone, casting a quick glance at it before resuming the pursuit. Once the footage made its way online, it quickly went viral. However, the burning question on everyone's mind was whether it was genuine or not. As people started watching the video, some eagle-eyed viewers noticed a few details that raised suspicions. They pointed out that coming across a bear chasing someone while casually flying a drone seemed a bit too coincidental, especially in winter when bears are supposed to be hibernating. Additionally, they observed that the snow on the trail was quite trampled, which could imply that the scene was staged, with possibly takes to get it just right. However, if you take a moment to think about it, there might be some explanations for what we see. Firstly, it's not entirely unlikely for a bear to be active during winter, so the timing isn't completely far-fetched. Secondly, if the trail is frequently used by hikers, it wouldn't be surprising for the snow to be packed down with footprints. Yet, even with these explanations, there's still no concrete evidence to prove that the video is genuine. So after all the analysis and speculation, what's your take? The tragedy in Charlottesville. August 12, 2017 was a day something utterly tragic and horrifying unfolded in Charlottesville, Virginia. There was a rally known as Unite the Right. It attracted a group of protesters who were against the removal of a statue of Robert E. Lee from what was then called Lee Park. You see, the statue's removal was part of a broader movement across the country to take down Confederate monuments, which many people saw as symbols of racism and oppression. In response, several groups, including white supremacists and neo-Nazis, decided to come together under this Unite the Right banner. They hoped to show a united front against these changes, but not everyone in Charlottesville agreed with their message. Due to this, a large group of protesters also gathered that day. They were determined to be peaceful and counter the hate speech that rallygoers were trying to give voice to. They wanted to show that their city and America was no place for such hate. The situation was tense as both sides stood unyielding. Then, the unexpected happened. That afternoon, a neo-Nazi white supremacist by the name of James Alex Fields Jr. drove his car straight into the crowd of protesters. The car plowed through the people and sent them flying. Around 30 people got injured, and tragically, one woman, Heather Heyer, was killed. The attack happened suddenly and brutally, and hundreds of witnesses were there at the scene. Some even caught it on video, including the one from a drone that was happening to be flying overhead at the time. The drone video doesn't capture everything in high detail, but what it shows is quite unsettling to say the least. You can see the moment the car crashes into the people, it is just one whole scene of pure fear and confusion. The actions of James Alex Fields Jr. horrified the nation and drew condemnation. In 2019, he was convicted of first-degree murder and multiple other charges and sentenced to life in prison. A ghost in the woods. The Cannock Chase Forest in Staffordshire, England, is said to be crawling with ghosts. But not just any ghosts. These are kids known as the black-eyed children. Locals say they are mysterious figures with eyes as dark as night that seem to look right through a person. Some believe these figures are the restless spirits of youngsters who perished during a diphtheria outbreak in the 18th century, while others speculate they could be the ghosts of victims of Raymond Morris, a man responsible for the deaths of several children in the 1960s. Either way, Cannock Chase is a place full of strange, unexplainable happenings. For years, people have claimed to see all kinds of strange things among the dense trees and overgrown paths. One day, a quadcopter drone was flying above this forest, capturing footage. As it flew over the tall trees that reached into the air and blew in the wind, something really ominous came to light on the camera. There, among the trees, stands the figure of a young girl dressed in a white dress. She seemed out of place, alone in the woods, motionless, almost as if she were waiting for something or perhaps someone. The footage isn't crystal clear, but that somehow makes it even creepier. Who is she? And what exactly was she doing there? You look at that footage and just wonder what's really going on up there in Cannock Chase. Is there something to these stories? Are there really black-eyed children who are lost and wandering the forest, searching for something? Aftermath of a tsunami. This drone footage shows a city that looks like it has been through a nightmare. This is Palu, the capital of Central Sulawesi province in Indonesia, and what you're seeing here was the result of a horrific tsunami. In the video, you can see collapsed bridges lying in heaps, houses reduced to scattered pieces of wood and metal, and entire sections of the city still submerged underwater. The scale of the destruction is hard to believe, and amid all this, there are the people of Palu, moving among the ruins, trying to figure out how to start over and rebuild everything that was lost. Here is what happened. A significant 7.5 magnitude earthquake struck on September 28, 2018, originating just off the coast of the Indonesian island of Sulawesi. At first, it appeared the earthquake had not caused much harm. Then the tsunami hit. Early warnings were that it would be a minor one, but in Palu, the waves turned out to be much higher than expected. Some were as tall as 20 feet, more than double what experts had first thought. Palu sits on a long, narrow bay just about 20 miles wide that acted as a funnel for the tsunami. Waves came rushing in fast, sweeping down through the ground and taking everything: cars, pieces of homes, trees, right out into the ocean. The soaked earth gave way in some places and caused huge mudslides, adding to the chaos and destruction. It was one of the worst tsunamis Indonesia had faced in over 10 years, killing more than 4,300 people. A few days after the tsunami, drone footage began trickling in, showing the real damage that had been done. It's impossible to watch such footage without feeling deeply saddened, yet at the same time respectful of the people who survived and have to find the strength to start over from scratch. The daring climb. You see cell phone towers almost everywhere, don't you? Those tall structures with a bunch of antennas and other gear at the top. Ever stop and think about how all that stuff gets put up there or how it's kept in working order? Most cell phone towers stand around 200 feet tall, which is already pretty high. Certainly not a climb most people would be eager to make. But here's the thing. Broadcast towers can soar up to 1,500 feet. You would think there would be some special high-tech method for maintaining something that tall, right? But no, it's the same approach. Some daring individual just climbs all the way up there. These climbers need to remain incredibly calm as they ascend into the sky. Even despite the fact that they have safety gear, the climb is still pretty intense. They don't carry a lot of heavy-duty equipment because it would just hold them back. There's a video that gives you a close-up view of one of these climbs. It was captured by a drone. Even if you think you're not afraid of heights, seeing this footage might make your stomach drop a little. It's a seriously long way up with nothing but air and a very distant ground below. Watching the climber go higher and higher, it's easy to see why this job isn't for the faint of heart. It simply shows how nerve-wracking the whole experience can be, and most of us would rather keep our feet firmly on the ground. Swimming with a shark. Imagine you are soaking up the sun at the beach, feeling the gentle waves brush against your legs and hearing your friends' laughter echoing around you. It's yet another idyllic day in Miami Beach, where your biggest concern is whether you applied enough sunscreen. But what if, unknown to everyone, something far more chilling was unfolding just beneath the surface? This was the reality for a group of beach enthusiasts who were blissfully unaware that they were sharing the waters with a lurking predator. Above them, a drone soared, capturing the scene below. Laughter and splashes filled the air while a tiger shark silently cruised nearby. The drone operator first noticed a shape moving beneath the waves. Curious, he zoomed in for a closer look. That's when he saw the massive shark casually hanging out in the water, close to the unsuspecting swimmers. Can you imagine the shock? It's one of those moments that gets your adrenaline pumping, isn't it? However, the people splashing around had no clue. They were happily swimming, totally unaware of the lurking danger. And thank goodness the shark wasn't in the mood for a meal. Otherwise, that peaceful day could have turned into a scene from a horror movie. Subscriber pick. Now it's time for today's subscriber pick, and this one will give you chills. The image we are looking at today was captured in what seems to be the heart of an untouched jungle. The scene shows a humanoid figure that is both pale and hairless, seemingly frozen in midair among the trees. It is as if it's either descending or hovering above the forest floor. The dense green foliage surrounding this bizarre entity adds to the impression that this creature is far from being a part of the environment. What makes this image even more intriguing is that it was not planned or expected. A drone accidentally took this chilling photo while flying over the jungle, and what it captured has left many questioning the boundaries between the known and the unknown. The drone was supposed to explore the forest, showcasing the beauty of nature. Instead, it stumbled upon this unsettling figure lurking in the jungle's shadows. But what could it be? Is this an elusive creature that has remained unnoticed by humans all along? Have you ever caught something odd or puzzling on camera in your photos or videos? Share your thoughts with us in the comments section. Hanging from a cliff. Weddings have a certain magic about them, right? Yet there are couples who go to extra lengths to make their special day unforgettable. Now, we don't mean an extravagant venue or an exotic honeymoon. This particular couple took things to a whole new height Literally. They decided to take their wedding photos while hanging off a cliff. Imagine standing there, dressed in a beautiful gown and a stylish suit, with just a harness and some ropes keeping you from falling. The wind is howling, your heart is pounding, but the view, absolutely breathtaking. It's the kind of sight that would make even the most thrill-seeking adventurers pause and take it all in. Now, whether you agree or not, this scenario doesn't exactly scream safety. In fact, it looks downright risky. Yet there they are, appearing composed and relaxed, as if they are simply standing on the ground. It's hard to comprehend. You have to give them props for their courage, because not many people would be up for something extreme like this on their wedding day. And then there's the guests. Can you picture getting invited to a wedding where you have to scale a cliff just to attend? That's not a test of friendship, it's a whole new level of commitment. While most couples go for typical wedding photos, this pair decided to turn their day into an adventure. It's daring, it's adventurous, and it's a memory that will stay with them forever. Strange crop circles. Back in 2015, something really weird happened that got people talking all around the world. It all began with drone footage showing what seemed to be circles in a field. However, these were not ordinary circles. They were strange and mysterious patterns that appeared almost too perfect to be natural. It's safe to say they looked like something out of a science fiction movie. Unsurprisingly, the video spread like wildfire, sparking intrigue and a flurry of theories. A local resident stumbled upon the unusual designs in a field in Tolyatti, Russia. The circles were massive, ranging from 60 to 150 feet in diameter and connected by lines that seemed too precise to be random. What was even more puzzling was that these circles resembled ones found in the same location a decade earlier on the exact same day. That's definitely creepy, right? So how did those crop circles come to be? That's the big question. Some folks believe it's just a prank pulled off by someone with too much time on their hands. Others aren't so sure. They're convinced there's more to it, maybe even something out of this world. The idea of aliens visiting Earth isn't new. Whenever something like this pops up, it reignites the debate all over again. However, the person who captured the footage has a different perspective. He believes that the creators of these crop circles will likely stay silent about it, perhaps to maintain the intrigue or to avoid getting caught. But according to the videographer, it's all the handiwork of humans, not extraterrestrial beings. So, while the enigma surrounding the circles remains unsolved, it leaves us with more questions than answers. Whether it's a clever trick or something beyond our comprehension, it's the kind of phenomenon that makes you ponder what's truly out there. The ghost of a night. Spending a day flying your new drone over an ancient castle sounds like a fun idea. Well, that's exactly what Thomas Arnold, a 41-year-old TV production tech guy, thought when he decided to test his latest toy at Berkeley Castle. This castle isn't just any old place. It's sitting on a hill with a view that stretches out over the countryside, perfect for capturing spectacular footage. Thomas probably planned to snap some scenic shots of the historic building and its surroundings, but what he ended up recording was something totally unexpected. There was a ghostly figure right in the courtyard. While maneuvering the drone, it suddenly lost contact with the controller for about 10 seconds. It must have been a bit creepy, but Thomas quickly activated the drone's return to home function to regain control. He likely brushed it off at the moment and went about his day. It was only when he got back home and started watching the video on his TV that he noticed something strange. A shape appeared on the screen, moving up from the bottom of the courtyard. It was so faint that it could easily be overlooked, but it was definitely there, and it looked like it was galloping, like a knight on horseback. Confused, Thomas rewound the footage, trying to figure out what it could be. He checked if there was smoke coming from the chimneys nearby, or if a gust of wind had blown something across the camera's view, but everything seemed normal. The chimneys weren't producing smoke, and the wind was blowing in the opposite direction. There was simply no reasonable explanation for what he had captured on film. It's a moment that makes you wonder if there is something deeper in the world than what you see on the surface. Whether or not you believe in ghosts, Thomas Arnold's footage from that day at Berkeley Castle is bound to give you something to ponder. Inside a volcano. Volcanoes are incredibly powerful. It doesn't take much to understand just how destructive they can be. We've all come across those videos showcasing volcanoes in action. The videos typically depict two situations. One shows lava flowing slowly down a hillside, obliterating anything in its path, while the other captures an explosive eruption from a safe distance, because getting too close is simply not an option. There's a reason why footage of lava bubbling inside a volcano's crater is rare. The conditions are extreme, with temperatures so high that most cameras would melt. And for humans, it's not just the heat that poses a threat. The air within a volcano is filled with gases, and the ambient temperature can reach levels high enough to ignite anything or anyone instantly, even without direct contact with lava. Thanks to technological advancements, we're now getting closer footage of what happens inside volcanoes. Drones designed to withstand heat can fly into a volcano, capturing images and videos that were previously impossible to obtain. These drones are operated from a distance, ensuring the controllers don't have to worry about bursting into flames. While some drones may not return, the information they collect is very valuable. In this instance, the team was fortunate enough to retrieve not only video footage, but also thousands of photos that could enhance scientists' understanding of the volcano and its surrounding environment. This viewpoint enables researchers to examine aspects of a volcano's behavior, potentially leading to improved predictions and safety protocols. And this was all without endangering any life, thanks to these courageous little drones that brave the heat on our behalf. Close encounter with deadly stingray. This drone footage that was captured in Southeast Australia shows a nail-biting moment that will leave you on the edge of your seat. The incident took place at Horseshoe Bay Beach, where two swimmers had an unexpected and frightening encounter with a venomous stingray. The stingray, a black one roughly the size of a dining room table, approached them while they were trying to catch a wave. In the video, slowed down for effect, you can see just how close the swimmers came to disaster. One of them literally stepped on the stingray, and this caused a splash of foam. The stingray reacted instantly, whipping its barbed tail around with lightning speed, coming within inches of one swimmer's feet. It's a heart-racing moment, but thankfully, no one was injured. Stingrays are known to defend themselves with their barbs when they feel threatened, and this one was no exception. The black stingray can grow to an impressive size, up to 13 feet long, nearly 6 feet wide, and weighing over 440 pounds. Despite their size and potential danger, incidents where people are seriously harmed by stingrays are quite rare. When these incidents occur, the outcomes can be fatal. A well-known case is that of Steve Irwin, the crocodile hunter. He died in 2006 when a stingray barb pierced his heart. While the swimmers featured in this video were fortunate to escape unharmed, it's important to remember the dangers associated with entering the ocean, particularly when it comes to animals like stingrays. Thanks for watching. See you in the next video.